Welcome to First Issues. As we continue looking forward to the day we would be rid of COVID-19, more information coming in, however, shows that the virus is here to stay. While vaccines have been rolled out in many parts of the world to help ailing economies and, of course, preserve life, it has become evident that the virus will most likely morph into a seasonal infection, which will need yearly booster immunization, just like the common cold. Here at home, many are looking forward to some of the vaccine options that will be made as soon as the earliest convenience. But in the meantime, what must we know about these vaccines that will help us understand how they can help restore a sense of normalcy, especially to the economy? Here on the program is Dr. Kiran Bhagat to give further insight.
More data coming in from international studies show that COVID is here to stay. With the development and exciting initiation of the vaccines and the tools we have now that have been speedily developed in the last 24 months to engineer and re-engineer vaccines, we know that coronavirus may well be like another influenza, which requires annual vaccination, but the speed with which we can develop the vaccine will become faster and faster, and as a result, COVID may be simply like another flu-like illness that needs a booster on an annual basis. It is important to remember that children eventually will need to be vaccinated in order to protect those that are vulnerable, their grandparents, their parents. Like in the old days when rubella vaccine was being advertised, children were encouraged to get the rubella vaccine with the idiom, "Have your rubella to protect the umbrella," which basically means protect the community by injecting yourself. So it is important to remember that in order to protect ourselves in Botswana, we need more injections to prevent the infections. We know that Israel is leading the forefront with almost half of its population immunized with vaccine. And we know from the data that the Israelis are sharing that there has been a dramatic decline in the incidence of hospital admissions and morbidity, which means sickness from COVID. Bahrain, the United Kingdom, and other countries are now speeding ahead with their vaccination program. We also know that a tremendous amount of protection occurs from just the initial dose of the vaccine. It is important to remember that the entire community needs to try to be vaccinated in order to raise herd immunity to protect those that are vulnerable. Key areas that are not known as yet is whom not to vaccinate, whether to vaccinate children, as most studies have been done in adults or children over the age of 15, and how frequently to vaccinate or to boost. These will come out as the data are collected from those populations that have been vaccinated. We also know that there are variants that have arisen across the world. There is the Brazilian variant, the United Kingdom variant, and the South African variant, which are permutations or variations of the original coronavirus. This is nothing unexpected, as viruses multifold, and as a result, changes in their DNA construction result in variations. These variations appear, particularly the South African and the United Kingdom variant, to be more contagious and infectious and therefore spread very rapidly. At present, the data from the United Kingdom shows that these vaccines may still be effective against the variant, although the South Africans are showing that the AstraZeneca vaccine has not been shown to be as effective with the South African variant. Many of the public ask questions about what are the different types of vaccines and their effectiveness. The Chinese vaccine and the Russian vaccine are what are called attenuated vaccines. These are the coronavirus that has been very significantly weakened and injected into the body, so it cannot cause infection, but the body realizes that there is a virus and activates an immune response. These are the traditional viruses from which measles, mumps, polio were developed, and their effectiveness appears to be excellent from the Chinese data. The adenovirus vector is a new type of technology where a small portion of the coronavirus, the actual thorn, the crown of the virus, is snapped off and duplicated in a laboratory. This is then put into what is called an adenovirus, which is a flu-like illness usually affecting chimps but not humans, and that adenovirus is then injected into the muscle of your arm, creating an immune response. This also generates a terrific antibody response or infection attacking response, and the effectiveness appears to be as great as the Chinese vaccines. So the question is, which should you get? Whichever is available, because they are all effective.
This program was brought to you in association with First National Bank of Botswana.
FNB, how can we help you?